this next tune, James Marvell will be here. We'll be chatting with him, talking about his fabulous career in the music industry. Right now, here's James, the Cavaleers, Urban Cowboys, Outlaws, and Cavaliers.
Waylon and Willie, that's where it begins. Outlaws and paycheck now are the trend. Long hair and country, you know that it's here. 'Cause there's urban cowboys and Cavaliers. Way back in 1964, I came a-singing, but I was ignored. Ahead of your time, cowboy, that's what I'd hear. There just ain't no room for a Cavalier. Waylon and Willie, that's where it begins. Outlaws and paycheck now are the trend. Long hair and country, you know that it's here. 'Cause there's urban cowboys and Cavaliers. Woo! Country has always been in my blood. It flows right through me just like a flood. And I've made no excuses for the way that I've looked. You could call me an outlaw, don't call me a crook. Waylon and Willie, that's where it begins. Outlaws and paycheck now are the trend. Long hair and country, you know that it's here. 'Cause there's urban cowboys and Cavaliers. Long hair and country, you know that it's here. 'Cause there's urban cowboys and Cavaliers.
Oh, yeah! James Marvell, Urban Cowboys, Outlaws, and Cavaliers. Hey, you know who I got here? Hey, James. How are you, my friend? How's it going?
Oh, man, I tell you, what a start. And we're going to have fun tonight. I also want to say hello to all you great folks out there that listen in to Joe T's Soda Shop. And I want to thank Dave Harvey. He's kind of the guy that kind of put us all together, and I sure appreciate him. And, of course, all your other DJs that are there, DJ Nick, and of course DJ Paul Cherry and Cheryl, and so many of them that are your friends there, and I appreciate them all.
Well, thank you so much, James. I was been doing a lot of reading today on you. Wow, I'm telling you, you are one interesting character. I'm going to get into all facets of your career here, but tell me, how old were you when you got started in the business, and how did it come about?
Well, I was just a young kid in Tampa, Florida, Joe T, and I must have been a young teenager. My mom gave me my first guitar when I was 12 years old, and that's how it started. Just a moment. Yep, I'm thankful for that. And my mom recently passed away, and always thinking about her. And anyway, and it started back in Tampa, Florida. As a young teenager, I was performing in places, I would call them honky-tonks, in Tampa there. And a fella named Johnny Bear, Bobby Bear's uncle. I'm sure you know who that is.
Oh, sure.
Johnny kind of took Buddy Good and I under his wing and helped us with country music and kind of showed us the ropes. So it has been a long career. Even before that, Joe, I was with a lot of the garage bands that were well known back in the middle 60s, like groups like the Surprise and others, the Scopes. We had a song back then that was kind of a novelty song that was placed on USA Records out of Chicago.
Uh-huh.
And the fella that co-produced it with our manager, John Centenaro, was named Carl Bonafati, and he, of course, was manager of the Buckinghams, who had such hits, It's Kind of a Drag.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And things like that out of Chicago. And they, we were able to wind up with them even at a very young age, being produced for the USA label. So, yeah, it has been a long career.
Now, I understand that the record with the Scopes was just getting underway. I mean, it was making its way on the charts, and the company stepped in. The Scope, the people that put out Scope.
It's one of those records. Ironically, we're called the Scopes, and the song was called "She's Got Bad Breath."
Yeah.
So there you go. We have our first big break, and I guess there's some kind of copyright infringement, and we were told the song had to be pulled, so we were banned in Chicago.
Wow.
And so goes on. Like I say, it's a long road in music, and everybody that's been in it, such folks like Terry Lawrence. What a great artist, and what a great history he had. I heard him last week on your show, and he could tell you, of course, it's a long haul. But that's what happened, Joe T. We had that song, She's Got Bad Breath, with the Scopes, Buddy Good and I, and the rest of the band, and we had to be stopped, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you, you corrected that pretty well when you teamed up with Mercy. And how did that come about, James? How did that group get formed, and what about the success of Mercy?
Well, I would like to give a lot of credit to the success of the group Mercy to the fellow who wrote the song. His name is Jack Sigler. I'm sure you've heard the name.
Yes, I have.
And, I think he deserves a lot of credit. What a wonderful writer, a great artist, a wonderful singer. Jack Sigler Jr. wrote "Love Can Make You Happy." He's the founder of the group Mercy. He had members with him, and then I had the other half of the members with me when we were doing these small places in Tampa, Florida, the honky tonks.
Uh-huh.
And we were actually country before we were rock. We actually cut our hair to go into rock and roll. Our hair was down almost to our waist when we were doing country music because the Beatles had come out, and we wanted to keep our hair long. And so later we became the Country Cavaleers. I'm talking about now Buddy Good, that was part of my group, and Roger Fuentes was the drummer, and he passed away here last year. He was the drummer in the band Mercy. So we joined Jack Sigler, the two girls, and Debbie Lewis, and Brenda McNish, and of course their lead guitar player, Ronnie Caudell, and there we were, and the rest is history. It took off. Mike Harvey of Super Gold, of course, a lot of folks listen to him, and he was a young DJ back then, Joe T. He got a hold of the record, and he broke it, what they would call breaking a record.
Yep, oh yeah.
As a young DJ, now, of course, he's been known as, the big-time weekend party oldies guy, that you hear on the radio.
It's funny that you should mention that, because I played that Mike Harvey intro for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I played that
and,
right in front of Love Can Make You Happy. Great story.
Well, yeah, he's the guy that got a hold of it, and of course, now later in life, he's kind of a big time DJ, and So that's what happened. You know, we went on to perform all through the Philadelphia and New Jersey. We were on the road with Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons. I can remember, just like it was yesterday, gosh, you know, doing these shows with Frankie Valli and all these groups back then in Philadelphia, New Jersey. We did the Mike Douglas show.
Wow.
There in Philly, and had interviews with Dick Clark. Dick and I spoke on the phone, also other members of the band, and, you know, he rated the song. The kids rated it, and they said, yeah, it's a hit. Boy, we were all excited, you know.
Wow.
So when you're a young kid back then with this kind of success on the road with these folks and doing shows with Don Rickles,
wow.
you know, and all that, I mean, gosh. And, you know, we were booked by the William Morris Agency.
Oh, sure.
New
Big
York.
names. Oh, yeah, big names.
So, you know, life is a little different. You know, you think that, you know, as a young kid that this will go on forever, but really, you know, it's you know, there's an end to that too.
Yeah, it's one record at a time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just you know, we had an album, we had some records, but you know, we went back into country music, Buddy Good and I.
Well, let's talk a little bit, though, about, I don't want to just run right by Love Can Make You Happy, because that sold a few records, didn't it? I mean, it sold a handful of records, I think like in the vicinity of over 1 million copies.
I believe it was, from what I understand, it's probably several million.
Yeah, and it gave you a gold record.
It did, and as a matter of fact, folks can find that gold record, I assume, on the internet. Not long ago, Deborah Smoot pulled it up and took some photographs of it, and she placed it around. She's such a great artist, too. And, but yeah, and, you know, we were just blessed. I would say it's a blessing.
Well, all the way to number 2, James. All the way to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100.
Yeah, the Beatles were at number 1. Elvis Presley at number 6 with a song called In the Ghetto.
Well, you were in some...
And you know, Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, I've heard of those three guys. Yeah, I've heard of those three guys. So you were in some pretty good company there, weren't you?
That was amazing. My goodness, you know, I'm just amazed by it. Of course, you know, I also want to thank again Jack Sigler Jr. for doing such a wonderful job in putting the group together and you know, and writing such a great hit.
Mm-hmm. And the follow-up, Forever, charted on the Hot 100, didn't do as well.
It sure did. And that was our follow-up hit.
Yeah.
Written by a fella in Nashville called Buddy Killen.
Mm-hmm.
He, you know, he had Tree Publishing, a well-known publishing company.
Sure
and,
is. Yeah.
And I think he even wrote that song. Even for another group, the same song was recorded in the 50s by the Dippers, I believe.
The Little Dippers.
Yeah, it was called Forever.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, they got the song to Mercy, and we did it, and it was our second big hit. I've done a remake.
Yes, it's
myself
great. You did a great job.
Mercy hit Forever.
Mm-hmm.
You might have it there.
I do. And you also did a remake of Love Can Make You Happy.
I sure have. How can you not? That's such a classic. And you know, it's been part of my life. I was blessed enough to release it, and it went to into the top 10 again in Cashbox back 3 or 4 years ago.
Now that is,
and that's amazing. I understand from what they tell me over at Cashbox. It's the only time. There's only been 5 artists in pop history to have their song come back again, one that they were either in or recorded, and bring it back, the same song. And Neil Sedaka did it, you know, with Breaking Up Is Hard to Do. And Chubby Checker did it with The Twist. It came back again for the second time. And, you know, I've been blessed to fall into that category, to either be in Billboard or Cashbox. One of only 5 artists to bring back a song, and that was Love Can Make You Happy when I brought it back just a couple of years ago, and it hit again.
Well, it sure did, and you did a great version of it. Now, if you don't mind, how about if we take a little break, you and I, and we play your version by yourself, as recorded as James Marvell, Love Can Make You Happy.
I appreciate that, Joe T.
All right, so here is James, and Love Can Make You Happy.
Wake up in the morning with the sunshine in your eyes and the smell of flowers blooming fills the air. Your mind is filled with the thoughts of a certain someone that you love. Your life is filled with joy when love is there. Love can make you happy if you find someone who cares to give a lifetime to you and who has a love to share. If you think you found someone you'll love forevermore, then it's worth the price you have to pay. To have to hold important, but forever is the phrase that means the love you found is going to stay. Love can make you happy if you find someone who cares to give a lifetime to you and who has a love to share. Love can make you happy. Love can make you happy. Love can make you happy. Love.
All right, there we are. There was James Marvell, and Love Can Make You Happy. James, how are you?
Oh, man, I am so happy to be on your show, Joe T. And I know that you have so many folks all over the country that listen in. I know they're out there listening. And I wanted to say thank you for dropping into the soda shop. And, of
Wow,
course, I
thank
want to
you.
say hi to your wife, Linda, and hello to my beautiful wife, Faye, while we, say hello to folks.
I want to say hello to both of them, too.
Yeah.
Now, I want you also to know that our show goes out in the UK on RMR
good.
Radio over there. So the folks in the UK will be hearing us live, and they will also be picking us up on the feed that I send them. So.
Well, I sure
How about
appreciate
that?
those people all over the world and those overseas in the United Kingdom. And they play a lot of my music, now even, on my own as James Marvell out there.
Mm-hmm.
And good people, good people.
Now, let's talk a little bit about your chart success, okay? In 1973, with the country Cavaleers, you charted Hummingbird, And you did another one in 1976 that you put on the charts. And it means, I guess, I love you. What is the exact, how do you pronounce that, the Spanish?
Well, the song has a little Italian in it, and Spanish and English, and it's called Te Quiero.
Oh, okay.
And you know, I am Spanish, you know, my background, and it means I love you. Te Quiero is the name of the song.
Such a pretty song, James. Very, very pretty.
I don't know if you ever heard it. Or
oh, yeah. No. I've heard it, yeah.
Oh, okay. And of course, the Country Cavaleers, Joe T, if that's who you're talking about.
Right.
That was that long-haired duo. The folks can still see us on the old shows by going to YouTube and typing in Country Cavaleers with a Cavaleers. We were kind of trying to do something way ahead of its time. And even the CMA, the Country Music Association, called us a first in the world of country music. It was a rough ride. Like Willie says in his song, Nashville was the hardest. And there we were with hair down to our waist. We had come back to country music. We wanted to reach the young people after being in rock and roll and seeing that for a while, and wanted to bring in a positive message for the youth, an anti-drug message. And with our image. And, boy, I tell you, Nashville kind of mistook us. They made a mistake. They thought we were a couple of hippies with cowboy hats, you know.
Yep, and...
Back in 1970.
Yeah, and you know, I was looking on the music charts. You were just a little ahead of the big movement because in 1972, you know, the Outlaws, Waylon and Willie, they charted Good-Hearted Woman, and you were just about a year or so away from hitting all that, you know. And hey, they had the long hair too, but didn't you mention that when you first met them that they had the real slick hairdos?
Well, of course, they were traditional Nashville, and that's the way Nashville was. I would still call Waylon a rebel, and Willie a person that just kind of hangs in there with the music. I think he deserves, you know, all the praise for what they did. But they still had the other image, even though deep down inside they were kind of rebelling against, you know, the Nashville system. But as far as the look, we brought it in early, and Waylon liked it. I was at Waylon's home, my buddy Good and I, the other Cavalier. And Waylon really thought we were cool, you know, and so yeah, we were trying to bring this in. Of course, we even had trouble in going into places. Our manager, John Centenaro, would keep us hidden in a van. It was 1970 in Texas, and we'd be hidden away. He'd go in a place to a big night spot, and he would say, "I've got this in the car, in the van. Would you let me bring it in and show you what they can do?" And the guy at the head of the club, here we were in a place where they could literally hang you if they don't like you,
Yeah.
So it was around the time of the movie Easy Rider and all that.
Uh-huh.
So it was amazing, but we had to have the police escorts just to be able to do our shows. And then once they saw us and we came on, and it was they gave us some hard looks at first. Everybody started to yippee, had their hats, throwing their hats up in the air, and we'd be singing Jambalaya, and boy, that was a close call every time. And that's the life we lived, to try to break this thing out there. As a matter of fact, there's articles on it from Texas that folks can find by typing in the San Antonio Express or the Arizona Republic and typing in Country Cavaleers, and they could see how we were trying to do this, kind of on our own.
Mm-hmm.
When no one else was doing it. But there's a fella that's a journalist. He's picked up the story. Ironically, here I've been kicking around for over 40 years with the whole idea, and with the music that I love, because I always loved country music. And this journalist will be breaking a story very soon in a very huge way. He just finished interviewing me and Centenaro and Buddy Good. And it's going to be a big time story. There's a lot of those stories out already. And again, I always thank Willie Nelson, Joe T. I don't want to talk my head off here.
No, keep going. You're on a roll.
I apologize if I'm rambling. You know,
no.
I'm a little older. When you get a little older, you start rambling. You know.
I know. But, believe me.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
But what was I going to say? I'm thankful that Willie, even 20 years after the fact, he brought us out again in 1990 and placed us in his museums.
That's right, yeah.
Nashville and Branson, because he knows, I mean, he has a heart for this whole thing. He is a legend, as we all know, and he didn't sweep us under the rug, you know. He brought us back out. In this music industry, Joe T, you get kicked around a lot, and people kind of push you to the side, and you need somebody of that level to kind of push you along a little bit. Matter of fact, if folks go to the Willie Nelson General Store and type in there, and you can find me there. They may get the website from you, I don't know, but they can see me still connected with the Willie Nelson Museum there. I believe you signed it today, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I enjoyed it. It was a nice tour, a nice video, and it was really, really good, James. And you know what? Your story seems like one that somebody should grab and make a movie out of it. I think it would.
It's a real story, and it gets even a little bit more dangerous than that. But I don't want to go into that because as I speak with you right now, there's a police investigation surrounding something, and I would highly recommend whoever's involved in it to go ahead and turn yourselves in, because no one was hurt, and that's all I can say. So this entertainment world is a tough one, and I do pray for the folks. I have a heart for everyone out there, and I know we're all struggling, and I do pray for them, and I do care for people, and I hate to see anybody just make a mistake. I'll leave it at that, Joe. I don't want to get too involved with it.
Terry Lawrence just sent me a message, and he said that he wants to thank you for rooming him.
For what?
Rooming him?
Oh, yeah. I'm glad that, I'm glad is he in the room?
No, he's actually listening in, I believe, on his cell phone, but he wanted to say hello to you and, let you know how much he really thanks you and enjoys you.
Well, I'm happy.
And Terry's
Terry
a real
Lawrence.
nice
Terry
guy.
Terry has a great story, and his story is amazing.
Yeah, Terry was on last week, and we chatted with him. Great story. Both of you fellas are so intriguing. Now, I want to read to you a little thing that country legend Jean Shepherd of the Grand Ole Opry wrote. Okay, and this was in 1970. And she said that the country Cavaleers had a style of music and appearance unlike anything at that time. And in my opinion, they were the first country music outlaws. Pretty nice,
that
huh?
Is so nice of Jean Shepherd. I believe she wrote that. I remember her sending us that. It was
in the Country Entertainment USA magazine.
Yeah, and I also remember it was written in her own handwriting, which was amazing.
Wow.
I remember that.
Now,
so I think it's out there on the internet. They've had it for years. Our manager has it, and others. Those kind of quotes from people. Dale Reeves of the Grand Ole Opry. These are the people that really knew the struggle that we went through. How we would get we'd have hit records. Joe T, and DJs to me are the biggest thing in the world. You guys are the ones that help artists like us. And but for some reason, the industry, to a point, certain DJs had to not even show that they were playing us. That's how much controversy there was with the kind of image that we were bringing to country music at the time. We were getting hit records. They were called turntable hits. You know, we'd pack places that we'd go to. They'd be packed with mobbing and crowds, and you maybe have seen John Centenaro talk about that on YouTube. You might have caught some of that.
Yeah, I did. I did, James. Yep.
But well, you know, the places would be mobbed and screaming girls and all that, but yet the industry as a whole wouldn't want us in. So I can imagine what Willie and Waylon went through, because we must have gotten the early wave of that ourselves.
Well, now,
part of the wave.
Let's come right up to this year. Okay? You had a #1 hit record on the indie Christian music charts, right?
Yes, and I'm thankful. It was also in Nashville on Indie World Country Record Report. It's a great chart out of Nashville, Tennessee. It was a top 10 there. It's on the religious top 50 right this week, I believe, and last week at #1. And right now it's on the Country Gospel Connection. Folks can find it, CGC, the CGC chart, which is a top country gospel, Christian country chart. It's even in Cashbox, I believe, on one of their charts there for country Christian music. It's called Washed in the Blood of the Lamb. And it's written by a fellow DJ, Joe T. His name is Woody Woods. He's got a radio station, and he's in a radio station in Georgia, Toccoa, Georgia, with, he's on the radio there, and he wrote the song with Washed in the Blood of the Lamb. It's
a beautiful, beautiful tune, James. Really.
And I think in my heart, that's what we all need. Like I was saying earlier, folks have a lot of problems in life. I have some myself, but I do send out the best to whoever, even those that may be for me and those that may not be for me. I do send prayers to them because we're kind of told that we should care for even those that are against us.
Yeah, that's true.
And I hope this song touches people as you play it.
All right, I'm going to give her a spin right now, James. Here is James Marvell, his #1 record, Washed in the Blood of the Lamb.
I've been washed in the blood of the Lamb. I've been washed in the blood of the Lamb. I've been treated by the King, and He gave me everything. I've been washed in the blood of the Lamb. When Jesus said to me, "Son, I love you," then He told me He died for me. I gave my life that day that you might be saved, and your sins could be forgiven and set free. Though the world around be shaken, your faith cannot be mistaken, for you've been washed in the blood of the Lamb. I've been washed in the blood of the Lamb. Oh, I've been washed in the blood of the Lamb.
James, what a beautiful, beautiful tune. Wow. Really enjoyed that one.
It's a wonderful thing to and I can share my faith, I'm sure, on your show there, that I think the Lord is the answer to all our problems in life,
Well, I agree with you 100%. And, wow. I would be so great someday if you and I could get together with some of the other Nashville Outlaws and do a program right here. We just get on the air and start talking until we're done. Wouldn't that be fun?
Well, I tell you what, there's an inroad to that, and the fine folks over at the Outlaw Hall of Fame, they may know how to piece that together for you. Also, there's a girl named Sissy Treat. Sissy is a booking agent, and what a fine booking agent she is, and she's been in the industry for years. So just maybe Joe T, that she's listening to this show, and Sissy will be in touch with you for her ideas.
All right, Sissy, if you're out there,
she's been around.
All right, if you're out there, Sissy, you get a hold of me, please. Yeah, that would be great. Now, before we start to wind down here, I want you to tell people how they can get a hold of your music. All right.
All right, thank you. Just simply email jmarvell7@yahoo.com or go to jamesmarvell.net with 2 L's. James, Marvell, Marvell.net, and you can find me there, and maybe look me up and email me, and I'd appreciate it.
Sure.
Do you ever say hi to folks like they may not be connected with your network, and yet they're good folks? Donna Zabo, you familiar with her?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know if she's in your system there, but she's a wonderful lady.
Yes, she is. She is also friends with Terry, and we spoke after the interview. She sent me a message, and she also sent a message knowing that you were going to be on. And Joe Fisk, he said hello. And,
Papa Joe, right?
Papa Joe, yeah. Yeah, Ronnie and the Satellites. Yeah. So, James, you have a song out right now that I played on the show last night. And I want to give it another spin here before we go off.
Thank you. It goes out to all the ladies out there, and especially also, again, my wife, if I can send it out to Faye. And it's called The Best Thing God Ever Made. And it's based on the way the Lord, in Genesis, how he made man and woman and put them together. I'm sure people can enjoy that when they hear it. And I want to thank you, Joe T., and again, all your great listeners for taking their time to listen in. And, of course, when it's put up, on the Internet or wherever you put this overseas, all those that are listening to it at that time and at that moment, I appreciate it. And this song goes out to the ladies all over the world.
All right, now I don't want you to go away, because after the song I want you to just say goodbye, okay?
Okay.
All right, so here's James Marvell and The Best Thing God Ever Made.
So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. A long, long time ago, God, he first made man. And then he made a woman for him to love. That brings us to this day, and the words I'd like to say. Oh, how I love him so for making you. For you've got to be the best thing God's ever made. I love to hear just for me. Yes, you've got to be the pride and joy of his heart, to think that you'd be the start and the meaning of love. Many years from now, we'll look back and say, life has been so good for you and me. Then I'll think of love, that precious gift of God, and I will not forget where you came from. For you've got to be the best thing God's ever made. I love to hear you say he made you just for me. Yes, you've got to be the pride and joy of his heart, to think that you'd be the star and the meaning of love. For you've got to be the best thing God's ever made.
Wow, what a beautiful, beautiful tune. James Marvell, the best thing God ever made. Wow, James, you got another hit there, my friend.
Well, thank you. And it's written 40 years ago by Buddy Good, the other Cavalier, and myself. You know, we were in Mercy together, as you know, and
Yep.
all that, and in the Country Cavaliers in our garage band. So we were writing songs, and that's one of those that Buddy and I wrote.
Wow, fabulous, fabulous tune. Thank you. James, I just want to say thank you for being here this evening. I really appreciate your time, and wow, I really enjoyed every single moment, and I wish you continued success from all of us here at Oldies Plus. Thank you, and God bless, my friend.
Thank you, oldiesplus.net. I appreciate you. Thank you.
You have a wonderful evening, and say hello to the missus, and